So we just need to start. I mean, I'll have to get approval from Tina, but we can like just sell our bodies.
Oh yeah,
Like
no, we're doing we have OnlyFans is
we
what
have
it is. We no longer have issues. We have an OnlyFans is what it is. This is our show now. We have nudes and they're for sale.
for anyone that's ever wanted to watch a sexy version of Tommy Boy, we got
Sexy.
you covered.
Oh yeah. Hello, welcome to We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I am Stevie Wildcard.
And every week, Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to overcome the various issues and obstacles that life throws our way. And we try to make freaking comic books. Steven, we've been doing this for a long time, dude. Like, not just the podcast, but like making comics. I think we should do a quick, like, previously on Steven and Anthony's life. Like let's reintroduce ourselves for like the newcomers. Like, first of all, welcome to our show. If it's your first time ever watching us, thank you for like watching it even this far, because oh my gosh. But hit subscribe and stick around for a minute, and we'll have some fun stuff to talk about. But Steven, let's tell people about like our history. Can you give us a little bit?
So Anthony and Steven, best of friends since the day they met. Not true. Enemies at first, not enemies. Mike Curtis had a great big heart. Anthony and Mike were great friends. Steven had metalhead friends. Steven was peer pressured into being a butthead, called Anthony names, but within a short amount of time after
no. You can't just sweep this under the rug. You can't just previously on Steven was mean to me, okay? At one point, Steven and I both had a crush on the same girl. Do you remember that, Steven?
Yes, I do.
You remember when that happened?
I drew comics about it, actually, funny enough.
He
Very
did.
violent ones, if I remember.
So violent. Steven drew violent comics of me just being destroyed.
Destroyed.
But well done. I could have improved them with a little of my writing. I'm just saying, Steven.
He could have punched him up if he's. I mean, I went right to the stabbing. You don't go right to the stabbing. You set up a little bit, like little mystery. Like you could have, you know.
So Steven was busy hating my guts. And yeah, so we had mutual friends. Steven like didn't like me. I didn't know that for a while. And then like I learned that, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna win him over with my crying. I don't know, I'm gonna cry about this. But so then what happened, Steven?
So over time, though, Anthony and I started hanging out, and then we had a new problem where my friends didn't like us, but then everything was fine. Then everyone, eventually, all groups of friends melded into one melting pot of love and joy. But then we all, after the melting pot of friends grew too big, kind of splintered off. And Anthony and I were already like super tight at that point, and we basically became the best of best friends. We forged this like molded alliance.
Yeah, I like the fact that like we started as this like messy Megazord, you know, like this drunk Voltron that was just like not sure how to hold the sword or what to do, and then we're just like slowly like, hey, no, you guys are great, you keep doing this, and we're gonna be a part of this world, but we're gonna go over here and
we're gonna be the very well put together Mastodon. I think the Mastodon is on the. No, that's the T-Rex. Where's the Mastodon? Was the shield at one point? I think I don't remember.
We're the sword and the shield. We work together is the point.
I believe he did draw the sword from the shield the Megazord did. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Power Ranger nerds, but
can you imagine just like being the shield? Like, can you imagine like being in control? Like, here I go, just take a sword. Oh. How you doing over there, Steven?
Well, to be fair, the T-Rex had so much like so it was like, you know, Triceratops was a leg, saber-toothed tiger was a leg, the pterodactyl was the chest plate. Right. But the T-Rex was like the whole Zord, basically.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's so true. It's like
why was the T-Rex so much of the Zord?
It's like if like you and I mix combine our names, and I call us like Stefanthony, and I'm like, that's my whole name. My whole name is
I put all of it. I'm Jason, so like I'm the most important part of this team. I'm the Red Ranger. Later going to become many other Rangers.
Did you read the script?
Did you read the script? I'm going to replace me with Rocket because I want more money.
Exactly. So we were busy building our sword, and that became through that we learned that we like to work together. We started making like short films and like silly videos, all these little things, and then we kind of bonded over our mutual love of comic books. Like we used to go weekly together, and we get our comic polls, and we sit down. And I remember sitting in silence with you,
just reading. Did you read that? New Avengers was one of our big Uncanny X-Force and New Avengers were like big at that point, and we were like, "Yo, yeah, dude, New Avengers is crazy. Purple Man's awesome in this."
Oh, the Purple Man was amazing in that, by the way. But like, dude, I remember like sitting next to you and literally doing that, doing like the, oh, did you read this one yet? Not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything, and then wait till you get to a part, and we're like, and it was just so great. And we got to the point where we were like, we can do this. We can make our own comic books. Why don't we? Let's do it. So we started trying, and we did okay. We did okay. I mean, not great, pretty bad. The worst comics anyone's ever made.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
then they got better, right? Like it was a little bit
over time. Like I feel like Pseudo Samurai could have had way better art, but I was very two-dimensional and flat then. I would say when the absentees like first attempt was like when my art was like, whoa, this is getting pretty cool. Like we're getting there, And absentees, I believe, had not one, not two, but three different attempts, didn't it?
Yeah,
like really
did.
Like back, because I remember drawing the frequency like introduction scene like 3 separate times. So
okay. So if you want to check out some of her very first attempts at comic books, you can find them on our website. We have issuespodcast.com. We have something called the Ostrich Colony Scrapbook, and it has like some of that stuff. You could see it, so it should be available. But dude, so then we kind of like, Steven and I never had a falling out or anything, but we stopped working. Like we stopped trying to make comics together. Like we both had our relationships, building. Like Steven was, Steven had the love of his life and I had the love of my life. And we're like, doing these things. And eventually one of those situations didn't work out as well. It was mine. It was my situation, didn't work out as well. And I was going through some things. I started working on my own comic book, and then I miss having friends. I miss being, like working with Steven, and I had all this stuff going on in my brain, my freaking like the human body, and I was like, I have to talk about stuff. So I pitched it to Steven. I was like, I have an idea for a book, and like if we should make a podcast and we'll talk about it. And he was like, fine. He was like, no, again, like
I need to let you guys know too, though, like not only did Anthony like ultimately push that, prior to that he really did like try to like bring our friend Mike, who did pass away, but tried to bring us all together with music like the year or two prior, and like he was trying for all these group concerted efforts and just ways that we could spend time and dedicate ourselves to something that we all love, and then finally the podcast is what ended up sticking, and Play It Again was the first book we actually finished from start to finish.
That's right.
And here we are.
So the reason I wanted to kind of bring this up and give like a previously on is because Steven, I feel like we're finally at that point in our like comic book making, creative and career journeys where it's time to level up. Like I feel like the way we introduced ourselves initially isn't the same way we introduce ourselves now. Right now, we are people who have kickstarted 3 books. We've successfully funded 3 books. We have a decent audience that is here for us every single week. They show up, people will support us, they freaking are here for our colony, and like we don't have a huge audience, but what we have is a dedicated audience of people who actually care about us and our show and like enjoy what we're doing and relate to us, and we get to connect with them in like meaningful ways, and I freaking love it. We didn't have that before we just had us. We just had a bunch of like strangers on Twitter and social media and such. Now we have this colony. We are people who have a colony, who are moving forward with this podcast. And so I want to talk just for a minute about like, okay, what do we want now? Because obviously like the comic books, it's still a struggle to get them done because we have, daily, we have jobs, we have families, and we have, just things going on in our lives. But I do feel like they're more on an autopilot now. Like I feel like our system is more like structured now, where we got this. We've like, for those of you who don't know, let's give a quick update. Usually what we do is we talk about what we've done, what we did previously in the week, and then at the end of the episode we'll tell you what we're going to do next. But Steven, what did you do this week as far as comic stuff is concerned?
So I got to meet up with my best buddy Anthony over here and box a bunch of comics.
Yes, we did.
Bunch of Kickstarter comics.
So many, dude.
Also got a phone call that my dad was hit while riding a bicycle by a vehicle mid-packaging comics. Also had to call my uncle Jason, who's not very good at relaying information.
Hang on. Let's go back for a second.
I can laugh now because everything is okay. Just know that these reactions now are because everything's okay.
Yeah, you want to know what my reaction was so this is what happens. Okay, we're sitting at the table, Steven and I, finally, by the way, finally getting time with no children around.
Yeah, my kids are at gym till 7.
Yep.
His son is with his mother.
That's right.
He comes over to my house. It's Tina, Anthony, and Steven rolling posters, packaging comics.
Just the best time. We're just like, oh, here we are. We have pizza. We have comics. We get to look at this and like we're rolling these posters and I'm bagging all this stuff and I'm giving stickers and doing all this. And we get to see the fruits of our labor in a way. We like see like, hey, these are the amount of people who are like showing up to support us. I can't wait for all of these books are going to go out and be in the hands of someone. Here it is. And we're all excited and we're pumped up. And Steven gets a phone call and I'm like, that's never good because whoever wants to receive a phone call. Not this guy. So Steven gets on the phone and it's
my mom. And my mom, I love her. She's amazing. But she like just full leads into your dad was hit by a car. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Jason just called me. He was hit by a car and blah, blah, blah. Like just popping off. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, is he all right? She's like, I don't know. He got picked up by an ambulance. They brought the bent bike back to Jason's house, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, I'm going to call Jason. And now
that's never good though. You know, like
no.
When someone, if you don't have enough information to tell someone that someone is okay, I'm not positive you should be telling them that anything happened. Like I don't want to know until I know, you know, because otherwise it's like, it's the equivalent or it's worse, but it's similar to hearing when someone's like, I have to talk to you about something, but I'll do it later. I'm like,
I think I need to clarify here because I said my mom and my dad. You all need to know that my mom and dad have been divorced for like 15 years at this point. So like it has been that long if you think about it.
Time, yeah.
Because I'm 36 and they've been divorced since I was 18. So like so 18 years.
I remember that so clearly. Like it was crazy.
Well, there were some crazy times
there were some times.
Then. But anyways, so like this is not my concerned mother freaking out because her love of her life just got hit by a car. No, that's not what's happening here. This is Steven's dad who rides the dirty sides of the streets with like his life.
Not a sex thing.
Not a
possibly a sex thing.
Possibly a sex thing. He might do stuff with feet, but he's riding his bicycle to work because of what he's done. And my mom finds out through my uncle who he lives with because my mom's family he lives with my mom's brother, which is just shows how awesome and kind and sweet my mom's family is. Mm-hmm. But so my mom calls me. I do this thing where I go into like mental lockdown when something serious is happening and I have to like kind of divvy out and just being the oldest child, I have to get to the root of what's happening.
Of course.
So I know if I call my mom's brother, he is going to behave the same exact way my mom just behaved. So I need to be direct.
I don't know about the exact same. Like Steven's uncle is a character. He's
the best character.
He is. He's very cool. He's a kind guy. That being said, he's the kind of guy that you can imagine there being a Netflix documentary about. Just not even because he's done anything amazing, just like a day in the life. We're gonna follow this guy because something weird is gonna happen. It's just he's that,
and it would be like Tiger King-esque, like it really would be. But like he's the type of character that if you saw him in a movie, you would say people like that don't exist in the world. Yeah,
you would.
But he does, and he's great. I love him to death. I spent so many years of my childhood together.
Yeah, Steven, just really quick, because there are a million Jason stories, right? But like I have like the just like such a quick Jason story is I remember one time when I was young, I went over to Steven's house and he was going to the McDonald's and he's like, I don't want anything. And I was like, oh, Jason, I'm starving. And so I only had $20. I was a child, by the way. This is all of my money.
And $20. Listen, you youngins, $20 20 years ago was a lot of money.
Yeah, and it was all of my money. And I was starving. So I was just like, Jason, and I meet at the time. So I was like, Jason, please give me 2 double cheeseburgers, which were only $1 a piece.
Yeah. Dollar menu was real back then.
Yeah. So back then, I know I'm going to get at least $17 back from this.
Yeah, there's going to be some change. There's going to be some tax. But
I get it. But I'm going to get my $17. So I get, 2 double cheeseburgers, please. He leaves, gone for 3 hours or whatever, however long it took Jason to get McDonald's.
Whatever time Jason operates on, really.
Whatever a Hobbit journey he was on, he went there and he eventually got back again. That's all I wanted. I was excited for my burgers. But what he brought back were 2 double quarter pounders and like 50 cents in change. I was like, does anyone want a double quarter pounder? And also, will you kill me? Because like what?
This is supposed to last me for the week.
It was supposed to last me for the week. I'm like I'm parsing out. I'm using a pizza cutter to slice my double quarter pounders just so I can ration.
The best part about Jason too is like he made you the wrong one in that situation because that's what he does. I don't know how he does some sort of magic, but
he's like, I went and I got you the burgers. That's what you asked for. I was like, you did go. You did
very
get
much,
burgers.
Nick. I give you cookie. You give me. I give you burger. I don't understand what's happening.
I was like, you couldn't. I'm so glad I have food right now, but I have zero money now. I literally can't come back to Stevens because I can't afford the gas anymore. Like that's where we are. But anyway, so Jason, so Steven has to call this person, Jason, who is lovely but very interesting.
So like I said, like I'm weird sometimes, and I just get really like non-emotional and just very directive, so I can get all the information, so I can decide how emotional I need to be.
Basically, compartmentalize, and you know.
Yep. Got to solve the problems before we can worry about them. You know,
you soak it in before you can squeeze it out.
Yeah. So I call Jason. Jason goes hello, and this is how I go. All right, I already talked to my mom. I know my dad was hit by a car. So how serious is it? Do you know anything more beyond that? Or just like I said,
it was very close to what he just.
It was very. I paraphrased.
And I tried my best to not laugh. Like you have to imagine, like I've known Steven our whole lives, and I know he's like this, but I also know what Jason's like. So I was like, how's he gonna cut through this? Like how's he gonna navigate this journey on the phone? And the way he did it was hilarious, and it works. It works. He's just like, yep. So anyway, he says what he says.
Still got the spazzing. Still got him going, my bike is bent. And I'm like, okay. Like, well, what did the lady tell you? Did he blah, blah, blah? Did this happen to you? Well, he was talking to her in the ambulance. I'm like, okay, so he's conscious. Like, and then I'm like learning, oh, he might have a concussion. Okay, so we're not looking at like critical condition. There's a bunch of tubes in him situation right now, because bicycle and car can go a lot of different ways.
Oh, absolutely.
So anyways, I try to call the hospital. They say because of HIPAA, they can't tell me any information about the man who shares the same name as me, except for a middle name. I can't know anything about that. But my wife, who is amazing, Tina is everything. I call her. I'm like, hey, once again, my dad was in the car accident. I can't get through the hospital. I can push through. She's like, okay, well, I'm like, I guess if you want to try, you can try. And then so she like, I don't talk to her.
She comes home and she's just like, here's all the information that I got from the person.
She goes, he's doing okay. He's in the room. The nurse is with him. I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, he's in the emergency room right now. He's in one of the rooms in the emergency. I'm like, how? She goes, I don't know. She told me everything. I'm like, why'd she tell you everything? And then like, so much so that like, we're all sitting there and all of a sudden Tina's phone rings and my dad calls Tina.
That was like amazing. That was the funniest moment, because we were all talking about how odd it was that you couldn't get the information, but she could. And like, why? It's your dad. Like, you have like a relationship with him, if anything. And then suddenly Tina's phone rings with Steven's dad. And the funniest part was she didn't recognize his voice at all. She had no idea who it was. That was so funny.
And I will say that's like kind of where I was okay, because my dad still cracked jokes.
Yeah.
But when I got on the phone with him finally, I did like downset emotion because his voice sounded bad. Yes. And I was like, oh, this doesn't sound like my dad. That's rough. Like, but at the end of the day, after everything was said and done, he has a broken clavicle. There's probably something wrong with his hip. 2 cars were involved, by the way. So my guess is someone made a proper 4-way stop turn and someone blew a 4-way stop and pushed the other car. That I don't know anything else beyond there was 2 cars involved. Because my dad hasn't told me anything else. When I called him the next day to see if he wanted me to come visit, he said Wendy's. So I had to bring him double stacks with lettuce and mayonnaise and cheese only. But yeah, so that was what happened in the middle of us packing comics. My dad was struck by a vehicle while riding a bicycle.
So that's how I'm going to call that a success failure. It's a fuck yes.
It's a fuck yes. The universe was like, all right, your comics can be boxed, but I'm taking something.
But we're taking something. You can't have everything. But
this is at least worth a clavicle, apparently. So
yeah, so this week we boxed up a bunch of comics. I like sat there, I put too many stickers in some of the comics. I tried to like make everything as even as I possibly could. I'm super excited for everyone to get these packages though. It's going to be amazing. Issue 3 is completely finished being written. Steven said that it was pretty funny and that made me happy. So
I didn't say pretty funny. I said it's very funny and the dialogue is great. I love the
cut
banter
that out
with.
and leave the thing I said, and that's it. I do this. No, but no, dude, I'm glad. Like I like you know how I am with the writing and stuff. Like I always like I hope it's good. I think things are funny, and I'm like, oh, I hope other people think it's funny. And then like also I worry about some exposition stuff being a little too boring, or you know, so maybe I overcompensate. I don't know. I hope it's good though. I hope
Now
it's
you balance it well, but the Deathless chiming in every now and then through all of this like it's not even boring dialogue. It's very interesting backstory to what we're dealing with in the Deathless universe. So no, he handles it very well and it's wonderful. And I have already finished an entire page for it and
dude.
basically the cover, but
I don't think we should show any
no, I'm not
pictures from
going
it
to.
until because I don't want to spoil anything from that one. If you're interested in Deathless, you can find the if you haven't backed our Kickstarters, go to wehaveissuespodcast.com and both issues are going to be available soon. I think they're both available for download right now, but the physical copies of issue 2 should be available soon.
Yeah, we don't like to make the physical copies of the issue that was kickstarted until
Yeah.
we get Kickstarter backers. Like we feel they deserve it first for sure, and they will be getting that
Yeah,
very
so very soon. So we kickstarted. We went on a crowdfunding site and we put our comic books up there. And some people backed it. If you're one of those people, you're going to be getting your book soon. We're very excited, and we hope you get to like. We really hope you post pictures of it and like read it and love it. I hope you love it. Please love it. But anyway, Steven, we're working on issue 3. You already completed the page. The issue's being done. It's done being written. What do you think is our next like level up? Like, what do you think are some skill points that we need to like start like adjusting or like adding things to? Because I like for instance, like I think if and I know that the time constraint is hard for us, but if we could try to lower the close the window a little bit between like the books, it would be good. However soon we can do that. Like if we can do more than one book a year, then like it like
I for example would like issue 3 to be done by our typical March 4th to Your Dreams Kickstarter date. So that way we launch and then we like as we get the Kickstarters, we just get the count that we need and then we order it right at the end of the start of the campaign. That's my goal personally.
That's an amazing goal. So like that's a beautiful dream with Christmas and such, I think.
Yes.
Like with Christmas and such, I think like I think if we can get just the art, I'd say if we can get the art 75% finished pen like ink wise, like inking 75% of it, we'd be in a great place if we can do that by March, because the coloring never takes us that long, and I'll start coloring as soon as you start getting the pages done. And then like the lettering, I always do that in like a week, like I always do that in, like it really only takes me a couple of days to do it depending on my my schedule and stuff. But yeah, I think we're gonna do it this time. So our plan to level this up and to like put that, we'll call it like kind of like video games, right? We can treat it like we're leveling up. This is our level up system. What are our achievements that we're going to try to give ourselves right now? Like, just like a video game. We're like, hey, what's the next achievement? I would say like, okay, finishing a book in 4 months instead of 6,
Mm-hmm.
So if we can finish a book in 4 months, we win. Other than that, I mean, I want Steven, I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to make a movie. I'm like, but I'm going to ask you, I kind of want to pick your brain with this, right? So my initial thought was, I have all these ideas for shorts, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could make short films, put them all together and make an anthology movie. Or if it goes well, what if I just made a series? What if we were just like, because it could just be a YouTube series or Vimeo or whatever else. It's not, like I don't have to, I mean, it'd be amazing. I'm not going to dream way too big right now. I want to make the thing first, but like maybe someone would eventually buy it. Like if it's a horror thing, maybe Shudder or someone, that would be really cool. But I keep thinking of things in like terms of a movie. But like I have all of these ideas, and what if I put them all together, like all these shorts, and made a series and just called it Table Scraps, and they were all in the same kind of like a very loose
Shared
but shared
universe.
universe. And I was like, because how cool would it be to do this? And we already have all of these stories for it. And how cool would it be is if once it was complete, like once we have a season of that, we actually make a feature length movie of Table Scraps, or like, you know, Bullet and the Beast or something like that. Because like by then we would hopefully be growing exponentially and have like more, you know, more confidence and the ability to hopefully get more
The
funding.
funds,
Yeah.
yeah.
So because that's really the fear. So for those of you who don't know, you know, we've always wanted to make comic books. We've always wanted to, like, we've always talked about making movies and stuff. I've wanted to make movies my whole freaking life, and I've always been too scared to do it. Honestly, like, I know my first movie's gonna suck. I know it is. I know, like, and that's my biggest fears. And like, I don't want to make a thing that I hate. You know, like so far, um, like even like there are little things about our books that like I'm like, oh, that could be better, but I think they're good. I still think they're all good, you know. And
Mhm.
I'm scared that I wouldn't feel that way about a movie, and I guess I won't know until I do it, you know. And I need to just
I think the most important thing like about art projects and like things like this is when you're creating it, you have to love that as if it's your best work.
yeah
But then looking back, of course, you're gonna like. I look back at the artwork and play it again, and like I sometimes like cringe at myself.
yeah
But Steven, when he was drawing Play It Again, needed to love everything he was doing to be where he's at today. So like, you can't be upset that your first film is gonna be subpar in your future eyes. You know, you just have to love it as much as you can possibly love it when you're making it, and
yeah
then grow from there. You know, like, and I definitely capable. I think we need to do a video anyway
hmm
for. We have a couple of covers that we've done.
yeah
We should do like some cool test like try to do it like
try to make it more
maybe up
cinematic. Like I'll
maybe
actually
make the
storyboard it.
like up the production value of
Yeah,
our music videos and
yeah,
just
for
actually
sure.
go for it and
Yeah,
like do like a weekend shoot or
just
something like
like
that or
actually
wherever you
test.
think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that
And like
makes sense
just to
because
test your lighting, your like things like that,
yeah,
you
well,
know?
because the light, because that's really the thing is like there are only a few things to really get used to, you know. Like
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that I can. I'm not really concerned as much with the like direction of it. I think I can figure out, you know, like where the camera should be most of the time and like the moves it should make, I think. I'm more concerned with like the overall look. You know, like that the look between like video and film where it's like there's some when you watch some like indie movies and it's like, oh, it looks like it was shot on a camcorder. Like it looks crappy. And I don't, you know, like I don't want that. I want to try to figure I want to do like some color grading and kind of like lighting and hopefully make it look pretty good, you know, like a real movie, you know, because I don't want people to watch it and be like, oh yeah, this looks like crap. Part of me wants to just make it in black and white because I feel like that automatically lends some sort of like I like not
Artistic
like
value.
yeah, well it's like an artistic credibility in that like it adds the contrast that lets you dismiss that otherworldly like weird video ness of it, you know. I think
Mhm.
that there's something to black and white that lends itself to film rather than video, and I think that, you know, that so like that's in my head, so I'm like, I don't know, but I can also, because of the technology today, shoot in color and then like change it and see what I think. And you know, but yeah, dude, you're completely right. And I, you know, we've always said that it's like practice makes progress. I should be better tomorrow than I am today. I'm gonna get, you
Mhm.
know, so like yeah, it's like the Adventure Time thing where he's like, you know, being kind of sucky at something is the first step of being kind of good at something, you know. And it's like that's
Nobody
so
wants their masterpiece to be their first work of art because that's
yeah.
never being able to top the first thing you ever did is horrible.
That's a good point too.
You know,
So my plan, Stephen, is I was going to just like make these little movies and like try to, you know, like I was trying to make something that was like that had no effects in it or anything, and you know, but honestly, I think we should just do Stakeout. I've written it.
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna like punch it up a little bit, but like it's a good script and it's fun, and
We
I
should
think
do the table read soon
we
with
should.
Daniel and
Yeah.
was it Diana was gonna
Diana,
read.
yeah,
Yeah.
Diana said she wanted to be a part of it. So like yeah, like we have people to do a table read, so we might as well. Yeah, actually I'll set that's what I'll do this week. So I'll like this week I'll set up a table read for the script as it exists of Stakeout, so then I can have something to punch up. That's what we'll do. That'll be our first step
Amazing.
toward that. But the plan for that, as far as I can conceive, is we will do a table read. Okay, show everyone. Hopefully, people enjoy it and get excited about it. And then we'll leave that out for people to watch or whatever as I rewrite it. And then I'm going to create a budget and figure out how much money I'd need to make it. And then I'm gonna launch a Kickstarter. Sometime next year. Like I don't know when, but sometime next year. And hopefully it works. If it's I don't know. I I feel weird right now about like Kickstarters because like I got to the place where I was like, oh, I'm pretty confident about our like comic book Kickstarters now. People are show up for comic books, but like I've never tried to kickstart a movie, and it's like, oh, I don't know. It seems like a lot, and it's scary.
Yeah, I can see that being nerve-wracking because we've never done it.
Yeah,
So like, but we never did a comic before either. So
that's
play it again was nerve-wracking at first also.
it was.
We didn't know how to ship anything. I mean,
Dude, that was
we
so weird. That was
we went from being able to produce labels at my house and then packaging and all, I mean, like all that stuff too. Like we've
yeah, dude.
This is our third rodeo.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention, like, we have a website. So once we have these videos, we can sell stuff on the website. We can do commentaries and like behind the scenes stuff. And like, like we offer all kinds of fun stuff. I think there's an audience for it. I know we're the audience for it. So and there are bound to be more of us out there somewhere, like
Somewhere deep in the wilds.
So, well, if you've made it this far, you're definitely one of us, and we hope that you'll show up for both of our Kickstarters that we're going to launch next year. It's going to be an interesting year, dude. What are you going to work on this week as far as the comic book's concerned?
So I'm going to work on shipping everything because I ship in droves because it's just easier that way. Because going to the post office with like 90 packages is just
yeah. I'm just going to stare at social media until people like post pictures of
Death. It's the best. It's the best. That's my favorite time of the year. It's the most wonderful time.
It really is, though. It's so incredible. Like if you're out there and like you've made a book or made anything at all, and you see like you make art and someone posts it on their wall, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. People are actually consuming this thing that we made and they're enjoying it, and I hope they're enjoying it. And oh my gosh, it's really neat and it feels more real, and and we're in book 3 now, so we're gonna have more and more people, I hope, showing interest in this book and showing up for it. And like, if you've read any of our books, please tell people about it. If you watch any of this episode or any episode we've ever done, tell people about our show. It really would mean everything to us. It is tricky. It's hard to get people to watch the show, but we're gonna keep going. We're gonna level the heck up. We're gonna freaking do this. I can't wait. Steven, what do you want to say to the people before we go?
As always, I love you guys. Thank you so much for continuously coming to support Anthony and I's dreams. One day we hope to physically own the ostrich colony somewhere in the continental United States, possibly outside of it, whatever the colony finds its perch, wherever there's sand, but also root vegetable growth possibility,
100%.
But thank you so much. We can't stress enough how amazing each and every one of you are.
Yeah, we love you. We're so thankful for you. Thank you for making it this far. Please remember to share our show with everyone you possibly can. We know you do. If you've watched this much of the show, you've probably already like sent it to 16 people and gotten a tattoo of like the QR code for this episode.
Hey, listen, I'm not trying to say that you guys aren't true colonists, but Tina has barreled tattooed on her
body. That's true.
So.
If you don't have barreled tattoo on your body, like, are you even a fan? No, but thank you. We love you. We appreciate you. We're so freaking thankful for you. And I know it's we go through these weird rough patches and I get really depressed and stuff, and I'm trying to like work through it and like you just kind of like trudge through this quicksand, and Steven helps me every time, and so do you, and I appreciate it and thank you. And yeah, I just love you. But anyway, I'm Anthony.
I'm Stevie Wildcard,
and this has been We Have Issues. See you next time.
Boom. Smash that like button, subscribe. In before 8 o'clock. Beautiful.
I figured might as well try. I was like, I
got off. Why do kids get a full week for Thanksgiving now? By the way,
dude, it drives me crazy. Because I'm a single dad. I don't have like, the means or technology to like to take care of him during the day without being at work. I'm like, how do I do both things at once? I can't. So I have to bring him to work with me, and it sucks. I hate doing it,
Ugh.
especially right now because it's freaking season and there are a million people and they're not great. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, dude. It sucks.
It was 2 days for us, right? It was Thursday and Friday, right?
That's all I
Sometimes
remember.
went, sometimes half day Wednesday. I don't remember.
Yeah, and I like, well, because I know then you get winter break. I don't remember having a full solid like time for
Full
Thanksgiving.
week. I don't either, man. That's, I mean, power to them.
Yeah.
I'm low key jealous,
Oh
but
yeah, for sure. Like, let's do it again. I don't think it's fair. Let's go Billy Madison this situation. I think like we have to go back in school just so we can get the breaks from being in school, which like we deserve. Like, if anyone needs a summer break, it's us. It's adults, right? Like, it's kind of absurd. Like now it's like summer's here. Oh, I get to be hot and sweaty and work just as much. Great.
and juggle figuring out what I'm going to do with my
With
kids
this
every day because
child.
they're not old enough to just be.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. And I mean, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, oh no. What do I don't like next summer? I don't know. I'm like, we better be rich and famous before next summer because he's gonna have to
So
go to school, go to work with me every day, and I don't want it. So yeah.
so we just need to start. I mean, I'll have to get approval from Tina, but we could like just sell our bodies.
Oh yeah,
Like
no, we have OnlyFans is
we
what
have,
it is. We no longer have issues. We have an OnlyFans is what it is. This is our show now. We have nudes and they're for sale.
for anyone that's ever wanted to watch a sexy version of Tommy Boy, we got
Sexy.
you covered.
Oh yeah. Just wait until that like was that Tommy Boy or Black Sheep with the bees when they run out of the car?
Oh, I think it was no, it was Tommy Boy's because
I
Tommy
thought
Boy
that was
his
Tommy
dad
Boy.
taught him
Okay.
that. Yeah.
God.
It sometimes I do mix some of the jokes from those two together. They are
Oh,
completely different movies, but they're the same movie. So
it's
it's
very interesting. Yeah, yeah. We don't see that a lot. I mean, I guess we kind of like we got the whole like Apatow grouping for a while where it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna see, these guys all together. And but they're different movies, but they're all the same.
yeah, but they're all it's the same universe probably. But you've
Huh.
seen Almost Heroes, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been a
Yeah,
long
we
time though, but
we
yeah,
all used to watch it together too.
yeah.
Do you think Matthew Perry was supposed to be David Spade?
That's a good point. It's a good question.
Because they're very
I,
because I kind of feel like remember that other movie? What was it called? David Spade made that movie where Artie Lang was his buddy, and I
oh, and
was
you
like,
think he was supposed to be
I forget
Chris
what that one
Farley?
was called, but yeah, I wondered that. Like if I don't
Like
know
they
why
just
David Spade wouldn't have done Almost Heroes, but
yeah.
definitely wonder why.
Unless it was like a studio thing where they're like, oh, we have to start giving these guys individual projects, but what we have to do is try to recreate exactly what they're used to.
We
You
need the
know?
dynamics still. We
We
just don't want
need the
people to think
dynamics.
we've run out of
I
ideas,
like to imagine
even
like
though we have.
we have yeah. I like to think of it like the studio has just like captured the frog in a jar and they're like, we have to put a leaf in there, some sticks. Like they're trying to recreate Chris Farley. It's not gonna work. It doesn't look the same at all. It's in a jar. It's never gonna be
It's
the same.
I mean,
They're
Artie
gonna die
Lang
in it.
is a rough trade
Yeah,
for
for
Chris
sure.
Farley.
It really was. Yeah, he was.
What was I gonna crap? I was gonna say something else too. Oh, Eugene Levy is in Almost Heroes as well, and it's like not even close to a Eugene Levy type character that you would ever think of.
Really?
He's like I think he's a Frenchman.
I have to rewatch that movie. Like I watched like that movie and the movie Cabin Boy, and like there are
Actually I've never seen Cabin Boy from like start to finish. I
it's
know that I can see the movie in my head. I can see Chris Elliott. I can
I,
see it, but I've never seen it.
that's one of those movies where it's like I remember I watched it and I was like just old enough to be like, what does that mean about like some of the like questionable jokes? Or I was like, oh, and it was like after like now I'm like, I should not have been watching some of these movies. Like, hey, it's crazy what I had access to,
Like what they say. Like I was watching
Yeah.
Malcolm in the Middle and like with Tina and the Malcolm's teacher had come over and she was like bonding with Lois and she talked about how I have to go home every night to my cats and Bob. And she's like, oh, who's Bob? And she's like, my shower head. And then they giggle together. And I'm like, wow, that was just on telly. That was on the
Yep.
television.
There it is. I mean, I guess like I mean, okay,
It's a well-written joke to where a kid has no idea what the hell
exactly.
she's
Okay.
talking about.
So Steven, if your daughter asked you, why is that funny or what does that mean? How would you respond?
At 8 years old,
Yes.
I would say, oh, she just really likes a nice hot shower when she gets done working all day at school. And
Yep.
and my daughter would probably be like, okay.
Yeah.
That checks.
I probably would say that. I'd probably say like, well, kids have a bunch of germs, and the teachers always have to go home and shower all the cooties off.
Yep.
Like
And the
something
joke is
stupid.
she's like her desires in life are so small, like she wants to see her cats and go take a shower.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that
Oh, okay.
makes sense. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. I would lie too. We would
Yeah.
both lie. We would appropriately just lie.
At 14, I'm like, well, that shower head is good. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, let's get on Amazon and see how many nozzles we can get. Like the pressure, it's all about the pressure. No, yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, The Simpsons have a lot of those. A lot of those, a little too direct. Like, hey, we're making a sex joke now. I'm like, stop it.
It's like, come on, man. Like,
Stop it.
Preserve their innocence. They don't need it.
Because I know they like to lean into like it's not a kid show. It's for everyone. It's a multi-quadrant show. It's but it's like, yeah, but you're saying things that are a little too on the nose. Like, oh God, I know. I watched it too. And most of the time you could just like blow it off and it's fine. It's not a big deal, but it's like, God, I don't want to have
every
this
now and then.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah. So, oh well. It happens. But yeah. Is there anything you want to talk about today before we?
Let's see. Packaging, obviously.
Yeah.
That's done. What did I do this week? This week, actually, I was like one of the weeks where I wasn't that crazy. So like I really did just kind of veg out this weekend. So Carl Urban's gonna be Johnny Cage? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I just found that out right now. He's gonna be Johnny Cage?
He's gonna be Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat 2.
Really?
It should release next year. I'm just trying to think of things I've read throughout the week too.
What? I mean, yeah. I can see it. I love it.
And Quan Chi's supposed to be in this next one, and really? Shao Kahn, and it's actually going to be a tournament. Interesting.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. So I'm guessing if they're going Carl Urban, they're probably going like slightly washed up Johnny Cage,
like the older Johnny Cage. That's what I was thinking. Is like he doesn't have the same like youthful like, hey, I'm a movie star look of Johnny, but I think Carl Urban can pull off a lot of things.
I love how I inadvertently went full circle because when you said Billy Madison, I thought of Veronica Vaughn, and she played the original Sonya Blade in Mortal Kombat 1. So we went full circle between Billy Madison and Mortal Kombat 2, even though she's not in it. But
it was a flawless victory, Steven. We nailed it.
It was. Boom.